Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another My Supercar Productions Drive Time Live Championship special tonight. And we are joined by, of course, James Wheeler there. James, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. Few technical issues just a minute ago, but I'm here now. Hopefully you can all hear me.
Yeah, we are 5 minutes later than we had said. I think it must have been your haircut there, James. You've just been for a trim. And look, we're very, very happy, delighted, actually, I would say, to welcome Spencer McCarthy to the show. Spencer, how are you?
Hi, Ian. Yeah, good, thanks. Nice to be here. Nice to have a little natter.
Exactly, and that's what we're going to do tonight, chaps, aren't we, really? It's a chance to just relive a few memories. We've got some great footage to show everybody tonight of the BCV8 Championship. We cannot wait to get out with you guys as well to do some live streaming also. Now, Spencer, I can see you've positioned yourself very well there. You've got the helmet in the background and the picture there. Was that intentional?
A little bit, yeah. No, I'm currently sitting in my little kind of gaming setup. I do a little bit of virtual racing as well. So this is my little home from home, just sitting here with all my bits around me. But yeah, no, I thought I'd get the lid out today, just to show the stream, as it were. And it's the livery I've been running on there for some time now. It kind of pays homage to my dad's livery that he had on his helmet as well.
Ah, fantastic. Well, look,
I thought you wore that while you're I thought you wore that while you're doing your virtual racing, Spencer.
Visibility gets a little bit impaired.
Now, gentlemen, we are live across a number of channels tonight. Obviously, My Supercar BCV8 page as well, and Club Racing UK. UK and a number of sponsor pages. So welcome to the show, everybody. If you are watching this and anybody has a question for James or Spencer, please do comment. We can see the comments and we will read it out to the guys as well. And I can actually tell you, James, we've had a comment already. Jamie Peters Ennis has said he owes you a few beers.
Oh, right. Okay. Cheers, Jamie.
So look,
I might crash
got that one in nice and early. yeah, me too, actually. Yeah. There we go. We've got a night out on the go here.
Sounds
right. Look, for anybody who's not as familiar as we are with the BCV8 Championship, I am delighted to say we have a live kind of introduction video to show everybody. We said we've got some footage to show people. So, Elaine, if we could run tape on the BCV8 Championship introduction video, so you know what to expect.
Great little video there, James.
Wonderful footage there. Now, there's some wonderful footage there. Now, look, let's talk about what drew both of you guys to the BCV8. Let's start with you, Spencer. What was the appeal of racing in the BCV8 Championship?
I didn't really have much choice. I'll be honest. I grew up in the MG paddock. My dad raced for 40 years. In MGAs, then moved into MGBs in about 85, 86. So I was, typical, doing my homework at the weekends at the race circuits, that sort of stuff. So for me, it was a case of going racing with the family. It was built the cars together, just get out there and enjoy the weekend together as a family. It wasn't quite expected. I think it was about 18 or 19 when I kind of knew that I was going to do it. I haven't really looked back. I mean, it's been that kind of family for me since I was a toddler. So the BCV8 holds obviously that special place that, you know, it's kind of home. It's where I kind of got my roots. Raced against some pretty good drivers along the way that have gone on to do other things, which is really, really lucky too. And the BCV8's had that kind of history of having some quick drivers come through it. You know, back years ago, like Rob Gravitt and Rob Huff more recently. So yeah, it's been a really good kind of learning experience with the BCV8, and it's let me move on to do a few other things and do well at them as well. So it shows its merit.
Fantastic. And actually, I'm pleased you said that, because I don't want to sort of plug whilst we're doing this show, but tomorrow we are live with Rob Gravitt ourselves at 7:30 p.m. So there's a nice little tie-in there. James, let's come to you. The BCV8, I mean, the cars alone to look at are something special, aren't they? But there's obviously more to it, isn't there?
Oh, well, the championship's just amazing. I didn't really have too much of a choice either. It's a family thing. It's a family show. My father was already into MGBs, and there was one place that you could race an MGB, and that was the BCV8. So that's what he did. He started racing it back in the late 80s, I think it was, when I was not even really thought of initially. And then, he did that for quite a few years, and then I ended up doing it too. And there's something about the BCV8. I think it's not only, I think I mentioned it in the last video, it's not only the fact that you're racing great looking cars, they're fast cars. It's just a great bunch of people that race them too. So you end up being a sort of the BCV8 becomes a bit of a family to you. So we all have a bit of a laugh. We've all got a WhatsApp group that we all join and have banter on, and all that sort of stuff happens too, as well as the racing. But when it gets onto the track, it is the most competitive. The racing's so competitive in every class. And the nice thing is you can start from a standard MGB, pretty much base route straight out of getting your license, straight into one of these cars, and then work your way sort of through the championship. Doesn't matter. You don't have to. You can stay in one class all the time. It's competitive enough. But if you want to move up your progression in speed, there's an option there with BCV8, and that's what makes it so good. The actual championship has classes to boost your speed into.
That's a good point you make there, actually. It's something I always find interesting is if you do get, say, an MGB or something, are all the cars, are they road-going cars then? I appreciate you've got to put a roll cage in, etc., etc. But are they road-going cars? Can you take them to the track and drive them home?
Well, you can. I mean, there used to be the A class. There's no one really competes in the A class anymore. It was very much for that standard car. It was that person that's, and this was probably back in more the 80s, when the cars were they were still relatively cheap to pick up secondhand, and you had the likes of like the younger, like 20s type of, would go in, put a cam in it, a little bit of a boy racer, sort of from back in the 70s, 80s, or and you could just take it to a track. And we kind of tailored it, or it was tailored back then to being just that really entry level. Someone's just done a few mods on the road, and they just want to take it to a track and race it. There's things have evolved a bit more now. I think there's not so many of that type of car on the road anymore. So now you've kind of got that kind of entry level is kind of pushed a little bit more. I think for normally aspirated cars or cars with carbs, there's now almost like people by default put some Webers on, or they'll do something a bit more nowadays, just even for the road. So that kind of level had to get pushed a little bit now. So we kind of start off at like an AB class, which is a little bit more than that standard original. But that's trying to get people in there. That's trying to say, look, you don't have to do a lot to that car that you just grabbed off the road. That's a decent road car. Put a roll cage in it, a set cam, and yeah, you should be up to speed with that level of car. And we try, and the regs in the BCV8 have been something that haven't been played around with year on year on year. And I'm kind of testament. I'm 43 years old. The championship was kind of started in 1977, the year I was born. And it hasn't really changed a hell of a lot. We've kind of fitted sort of sections in to allow certain things. And obviously over years where it's kind of died down a bit, you kind of make those tweaks. But I'd say largely the regs have stayed very, very, structured and the same. So it doesn't really give that kind of scope for someone doing a little bit more one day and then, having to pull it back, and you get this to and froing. So, I think it gives you that progression from getting started off the road through the class structure.
Excellent. Well, actually, talking of regulations and talking of the series now, James Darby has commented. I'll be about to ask you an impossible question, as we're still unsure on track. But he has asked a question: what are we doing with points this year? Will we drop points, or will all rounds count? James, do you know the answer to that one?
It's breaking up a little bit. I don't know whether it's me or you, but I think you got what we're going to do with the points this year. It's a tricky one. So I think the plan is going to be, if we get it all depends how many rounds we get. So if we get the final 3 rounds, that means we get 6 races. Most other championships are taking out the drop round that you would normally do. We have 2 drop rounds that you'd have over the course of a whole year. If we get six races, it seems, probably not great to then have to drop 2. So the plan with the points will be full points each round as we would normally score them. But by the end of the year, we won't drop any, because essentially we've all dropped the first half a season. So it will be six rounds, all for the win at the end.
Fantastic. Now let's talk about the racing action a little bit. I appreciate my connection might be a little bit funny, so I'll go a little bit slower. Now, Spencer, we actually have some footage of you going from the back of the field. Now, we've got about the first lap or so, but we'll have to ask you to take us through what happened at the end. So we're going to show a little bit of footage right now. Spencer McCarthy starting in right at the back of the grid. Elaine, if we could roll tape, and then Spencer, you can talk us through what happened at the end of this race.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. That was, it looked like I was driving around on tick over then. It always did when you're in car.
My fault.
Yeah.
So what happened, Spencer? What happened?
So that car was my dad's old car. That's what he started the VCVA out in 1985, 86. And it's been going a long time, that car, bless it. So the last couple of years I've taken it out because it hasn't had a lot of use. It's a B-class car, so it's a road modified engine, probably about 170 brake horsepower. And I run the B-class, so that's kind of one up from the bottom. And I had a problem in qualifying. I think the car just cut out on me, and it was either an earth or it was the I can't remember exactly what I had to do, but it wasn't very, bad problem. It was literally just a connection somewhere. Anyway, so I got the car going again. I hadn't done my 3 laps. Went to see the clerk of the course. It was a case of, and as the MG Car Club are, very friendly. I've been known in the circuit for a long time. I'd raced on the circuit within a year, so they put me straight on the back of the grid, understanding that I wasn't going to, do something silly. But yeah, it was one of those moments where I had a bit more power than the good few rows ahead of me. And obviously I've got a decent launch. I think I overtook about 12 or 13 cars on the first lap. But my goal was obviously to try and win my class still, which I think by about maybe 5 or 6 laps into the race, or maybe I think it was a 10-lap race-ish, I managed to get the lead. And then it was a case of just trying to bother the C-class cars ahead of me just to give them a little bit of a a hurry up where I can sometimes. But yeah, no, it was one of those silly things, but it's an old car and it does that to me sometimes. And obviously I'm telling my dad that thanks very much when that's all happening. But yeah, no, it's good to have a bit of fun. I mean, the guys that I'm racing with as well, because you've known them for such a long time, you know where they're going to go, you know what they're going to do, you know who's the strong drivers, who are the drivers that will quite happily let you come straight through, and then obviously you start to get to the more competitive guys. But yeah, no, it's good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And James, I'm sure you reiterate that point. Of racing is quite intense, but it's a lot of fun as well. What would you say is what's been your favourite place to go racing with the BCB8, James? What sort of place really grabs you and just thinks, I can't wait to go there?
Oh, he's dropped off. Well, I know full
well. He's gone. Yeah, Spencer, you can answer that. Yeah,
yeah. He likes. Well, James he's a flamboyant driver. He's got some of the in-car videos up on his YouTube channel, so go and have a look if you haven't already. But he's all arms. The guy can muscle the car around, which is great to watch, basically. But yeah, I think he likes Norton Park. I think maybe there's a video later on that might feature a bit of that. But yeah, I think as do a lot of us. I think Cabell Park and Norton Park, I think on the driver's point of view, are two of the tracks that I think a lot of people gravitate to.
Yeah, and is that where you gravitate to as well, Spencer? Because they are sensational places, aren't they?
Yeah. I think mine is probably Norton Park. I always find it somewhere that it's never one of those tracks that you went to a hell of a lot, or the MG Car Club maybe didn't go to a lot. And I think it's one of those ones that's far enough up the country that you would maybe not get huge grids at. So they might have only done it kind of, or put the race on every 2 years or something. So I always find that when you go there, there's that kind of like half a tenth or tenth or 2/10 that you kind of think, I've just found a bit more this time around that I didn't find, the last time I was here. It's always one of those tracks that you could find if you push in certain areas. It's quite a technical track. Cabell Park, I think that's always been known as one of those tricky tracks, but it's nice to master it. And I think that was kind of the first one I think I really got my head into really trying to get to know well and do well at, and have had some pretty good success there. So I think, and I kind of later on in life I kind of moved on to Norton Park being a bit more of a slightly wider track. You could race a bit more there, and they're my two favourites.
I've heard a lot of people say that actually about Cabell Park. They say to drive, Cabell Park is sensational. To race, cars perhaps not so much. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would. I've had some very close battles there, but it's one of those tracks that you've got to be millimetre perfect, especially if you're too wide, and you'll lose a lot of time going too wide because it is such a single track, or single width track almost, in certain parts. So you've just got to be you've got to be careful with it. Yeah, hot lap in there is great. It's one of those tracks where you get one movement wrong, or you're on two wheels through the gooseneck, and it's that. I think my brother went off there once, and he broke his wrist going through the gooseneck because there's a marshal's post right in the wrong place. So it's it can be a bit brutal.
Well, I'll tell you something, Spencer. We've been talking about Alton Park. We've been building it up so much. I know I can see James is back watching. I guess there was a connection issue. We'll try and get James back if we can, but I know you're watching, James. And I know you want to see this video as well. We have taken the first lap. I believe it's a duel between you and James, isn't it, Spencer? So it's at Alton Park, and it's a full lap around Alton Park. So we're going to play that now. So we get Elaine to play that right now. And let's enjoy a full lap in a BCV8 championship car around Alton Park. Can I just say that sound just gives me goosebumps. Wow. And there he is. The man is back himself. James, welcome back. Can you hear us? He's back on his laptop, isn't he? He's back as well. Spencer, was that you in front of James?
I believe it was. I will not confirm tonight. No, I was. I was leading the race at that point. James got pole. As you can see, he was on the right side of the grid. But yeah, that was the V8 that I've got. Which obviously, from the looks of it, I did have a pretty good bit of power in that car. But it's sort of dragging away from James down the straights. And as you can see from what I just said there, James is all about the arms. James is all. He's wrestling that car around everywhere, and he makes up so much time through the corners. It's great. But yeah, he actually got me in that race later on. But I think unfortunately my brother then overtook him, so it was one of those battles. But yeah, no, the cars sound awesome, and they're insane to drive. You know, they will kill their tyres within about 5 laps if you let them. You just got to really keep an eye on things, the temperatures, everything else. It's just they're great cars to drive, and they're really thrilling. Like, probably give you an adrenaline rush because the acceleration is really good. And then the brakes is that kind of thing. Is like, now we've got to stop it because 7-inch wide tyres, treaded tyres. It's they take a bit of manhandling around, but they got great fun. It was a great drive from James. He's back now.
There he is. There. He's smiling away.
Yeah,
we just had a lot of praise for you there, James. A lot of praise for you in that drive. Did you see that video?
I did. I thought we had to switch over to the mobile phone to be able to speak to you. Then the battery died. It went back to the laptop, and unfortunately you can't have headphones in when you've got it plugged into it. So I'm back to the mobile and running on 4G. So yeah, hopefully my data bill is not going to be massive, but I'm here. Yeah.
We were just talking about James, we were just talking about that was obviously Alton Park, a particular favourite of yours, as we know, and the noise that those cars make, it's just sensational, isn't it?
Oh, they're awesome. The D class are something else when it comes to noise. Just the V8, the Rover V8 engine in general has got an amazing tone to it, I think it makes everyone sort of look at it in awe. But I mean, I've said it many times. The championship itself, every class has its appeal, and yes, the D class is immense. But all of the racing throughout is so close that when you're watching it, you have no idea who's going to win each class. But wait until you hear those D class cars in real life, you'll love them.
I cannot wait. And talking of being in real life, we obviously we don't know when we're going to get back out on track. But when we do get back out on track, for those who don't know, what's the format of the races? Are they 15-minute sprints? What you tell us, James?
Yeah, so they tend to be 15-minute qualifying and then 2 20-minute races. So what we do with that is we tend to try and have them on one day. Normally a Saturday. It doesn't always work like that. Sometimes they go over the 2 days, but we try our best to make it a qualifying and 2 races in the one day. So it can be quite intense. By that final race of the day, it tends to be quite a later on a race because you've already had your first one sort of just after lunch. It kind of can be a real challenge to get that second race. But the minute the lights go out, the motivation's back, and you're trying to win as you were doing in the first race. But the nice thing is with that kind of, it gives people a chance. If you have an issue in the first race or don't quite finish where you want to, you get that second sprint. So it's quite nice running them all as double headers. So you always get 2 races on one weekend. We try
the second fastest lap. Isn't it the second lap in qualifying that gets you a second grid?
Yeah. So that's what Spencer's saying there. Yeah, it's key to get you 2 laps in qualifying. If you just get 1 quick one in, you might find on the second grid you're way down the order because you've got to get 2. So you've got to be consistent in qualifying.
And the points, we've had a question with regards to points, of course, but is it points throughout the grid, throughout the field, or is it top 10? How does the point system actually work?
You want me to
give
say
them
this one,
out all the
Spencer?
time. Yeah, we give them out all the time, don't we, Jay?
Just give them out.
Yeah, we just give them out. There's one for the entry at the end of the day. I mean, no one really has no points at the end of the season. There's you got one for fastest lap, one for pole position, one for basically showing up near enough. Obviously, you then start from the top going down. So when down to I think it's down to, is it 8th place? I can't remember what the final is.
It goes down. First place gets 12 points. Plus you've got the extras you can gain. First place gets 12. Second place gets 10 points. Third place gets 8, and then it goes down from there 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 down the order. So the first 3 places have got a gap of 2 points each, and then it goes down one at a time after that.
Can I ask a question then? Can I ask a question then, guys? When we come to do the live streaming for you guys, can you include me in the championship table? I just want to see my name in the championship table. You don't have to give me any points. Why don't you give me 1 point for turning up?
1 for entry. Yeah, 1 for entry.
Now, look, guys, James, let's come to you with this one, of course. Everything's lit up in the air. But if somebody wants to find out more, obviously, about the BCV8 Championship, where's the best place for them to go and find out all about the championship and how they can get involved?
So, a few places to look at. One is bcv8.com, which is running down the bottom of your screen now, I can see. That's probably your best place. It's quite a simple website. We've kept it that way. One, because we're all sort of volunteers running the championship. So it's quite a simple championship because, one, we technically that's what we're going for. But two, it's nice and easy to navigate. Literally everything you need to know for the 2020 season is on the 2020 page. So nice and simple. You've got the regulations
easy
there. You've got registration forms, and then you've got all of our contact details. The main email to contact us on, and you'll get a reasonably quick reply, is admin@bcv8.co.uk. It's a slightly different area. Both bcv8.com and bcv8.co.uk work, but www.bcv8.com for the website, admin@bcv8.co.uk for the email. And then obviously you can find us on Facebook, like people must have done to see this video right now. So we're on Facebook as well.
Fantastic. Now I can't let you go just yet, lads, because we've had another comment from Steve Lamont, and he says points should also be awarded. You have to car rebuild on the track. There's a story behind there, I gather.
Yeah. So that's Steve. Steve looks after my car when we're at the circuit. He's a cracking guy, great mechanic. And I won't give him his nickname live on Facebook.
If you wait 9 minutes, it'll be after 9 o'clock.
He many a time my car might come back not that damaged, because there's very little damage in BCV8. That's what's brilliant about the championship. We race close, but there's no contact. But they're old cars, so mechanically sometimes they can give you a little bit of jip. Normally niggles that can be sorted quite easily, but Steve many a times had to find that niggle and get me out last minute. And we've had a few of them we have in my season.
Steve, thumbs up to you. It sounds like you got your work cut out. Now, look, before we just wrap this,
I think rather than points,
sorry,
I think we rather than points, I think we normally supply Steve with a bottle of wine, don't we? Or there's a bottle of something that normally goes Steve's way for a good mechanic on the day.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they all do it voluntarily, but they do get paid in beer.
My kind of championship. Sounds good to me. Look, before we wrap this up, chaps, Spencer, let's just come to you first. You've obviously been involved in motorsport your whole life. Is there anybody or any family, friends, sponsors you'd like to give a bit of a shout out to?
Wow. Not really.
Nobody ever normally says that.
There's obviously my family. Obviously, if my wife didn't let me do it, then we'd have, that would be a problem. So there's obviously massive thanks that goes that way. But it's one of those hobbies that I got into at such a young age, and kind of educated as to how to do it and how to look after the cars, that I'm lucky that I can kind of do quite a lot of the hands-on work myself. and that keeps a lot of the costs down. And I've been quite fortunate enough to, if you can keep it as a hobby, that's your hobby, that you can just about fund, then you're not beholden to anyone else so much, so you can actually just make sure you can enjoy it as opposed to thinking about all that side of it as well. But no, pretty lucky on that front. But I've help from lots of people in the paddock, and including my brother as well. So it's always been a family game for us.
Fantastic. And of course, James, same sort of question really. We know obviously it's a voluntary thing, so we of course want to say a big thank you to the marshals as well, but anybody that you want to give a particular shout out to?
Was that it's breaking up again? It's gone, but I'm here. Anyone I want to say thank you to?
That's it. Yeah, you got the gist of it. Yeah.
We've got Steve, who you've already heard from. We've got Little Legs Martin, we'll call him. He'll love that if he's watching this. My mum and dad, definitely, because without them, we would not be on the track. Just a big thank you to, as you say, all the people that help. We've got a couple of people behind the scenes. Spencer helps out with the championship. Russell, his brother, helps out with the championship. Neil Fowler helps out with the championship, and his other half, Debbie. All of us sort of muck in together to keep the championship going. As everyone does it, everyone's helping out to keep the championship going. So anyone I've missed out, then thank you.
Fantastic. And Steve has just commented back actually there and said great fun and a great community. So I can certainly say that from my short experiences with the BCV8 Championship. Well, look, Spencer, James, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. It always is whenever we catch up. You certainly got a different haircut than you had last week, James. So who knows? Who knows what might happen next week? And look, thank you to everybody who's watched this as well. Sorry, go on, James.
That's a thank you to the wife for the haircut. That's a pair of clippers, and yeah, she went mad with them.
Excellent. So look, everybody, thank you for tuning in this evening. We hope you've enjoyed the show. We've seen some great footage from the BCV8 Championship. Don't forget www.bcv8.com to find out all you need to know about 2020, the series and beyond. Spencer McCarthy, thank you so much. James Wheeler, thank you so much. And we will see you guys trackside sooner rather than later. Thank you. And that's a wrap.
Looking forward to it.